13 on Your Sidelines, sponsored by Davenport University. Get where the world is going.
I know you can be louder than that. Come on. I know you can be louder than that. Professional wooers. We want to hear it. Well, I don't know where this thing went. It feels like it was just the dog days of August and training camp. Somehow, week 9 of the high school football season, the last week of the regular season, is here. Welcome into 13 on Your Sidelines. I am Jacob Seuss. And of course, week 9 means there's just one last chance. Teams can make the playoffs, they could lock in a home game, or they could be headed home for the offseason. But before we get to the highlights, we have our guests to introduce you to. Please welcome the cheerleaders from Wyoming High School. One more time, guys. All right, let's get to the good stuff. For the second straight season, 2 West Michigan powerhouses squared off tonight. Zeeland West traveling to Grand Rapids to face West Catholic in our 13 on Your Sidelines game of the week. Both teams looking for momentum and possibly home field advantage going into the playoffs. Zeeland West gets the ball first, doing what they do. They take up 10 minutes on the clock. 4th and goal, Drew Albrecht to Jonah Leslie. That's a 4-yard score. It was 8-0. But West Catholic answers immediately. 3rd and 12 in the red zone. Grady Augustin with the strike to Cal Peterson, 8-7. Next possession, the Ducks, for one of the few times in this game, forced to go to the air, and Connor Oshevsky comes away with the pick, and he's got a little bit of breathing room to get the offense near midfield, and they would capitalize. Back in that red zone, Colin Abrams' 7-yard touchdown run puts West Catholic up 14-8, but West would strike before the break. Zeeland West, that is, knocking on the door. Brandon Holman somehow stays on his feet, lets the defender know it. The Ducks lead 16-14 at the half, but nothing changed out of the break. More offense. Abrams with a long run to set it up. Augustin to Owen Hunter. Falcons back in front, 22-16. And then in the 4th, after 2 big stops by the defense, West Catholic puts this game on ice. Augustin to Thomas Puxta. He does the rest. That's a 47-yard touchdown. West Catholic finishes the season on an 8-game winning streak. They take this one over Zeeland West, 28-16.
That's a huge win for our program. It had been really easy for us to come in and just say, this game doesn't matter, because in reality, like with regards to playoff points and those things, it didn't. But for our kids, it meant a lot, especially with how well we played against them last year. We felt like we let one slip away, and our kids wanted to go get them back. And it's a great momentum shifter in the playoffs. Yeah, they fought their butts off. It's never an easy game to win, and they played really hard, and I'm proud of them for that.
We know both of those teams will be in the playoffs, and there aren't many conference titles on the line tonight, but there was one out in the OK Silver. You'll see Belding and Godwin Heights tied for first place in the standings, and it met up perfectly. They went head-to-head, and our producer, Matt Gard, joins us with the highlights from this winner-take-all battle, Matt.
Jacob, last week, Godwin coach Brandon Kimball told us he wants this Godwin Heights team to do things they haven't done in a long time. And it's been 36 years since their last conference title. But to snap that drought, they'd have to win at the always tough place to play, Rudness Field. It was 28-20 Belding at half. Aiden Jackson takes the second half kickoff opener for Godwin. He's going to break some tackles, find some open space, give the Wolverines good field position, but they would turn it over on downs. First play of the ensuing Belding drive. Former 13 on Your Sidelines MVP of the Week nominee Ethan King takes it 51 yards to the house. Gives a high five, too. That made it 36-20 Belding. Godwin would try to answer. Sophomore QB Martellus Forrest shows off his good arm, but this pass is going to get picked by Jonah Hummel. Belding ball. Black Knights take the following drive into the 4th. Tegan Van Dyken puts them on the scoreboard again one more time. The Black Knights would win this one 52-20. They are OK Silver Conference champions tonight. Jacob?
Matt, you did a good job. The camera didn't go astray when the horn went on. I get scared every time. Unity Christian had the opportunity to go undefeated in the regular season for the second straight year. That's hard to do. 13 on Your Sides, Peter Elliott. We brought him back. Peter, good game for you tonight. Let's take a look at those highlights.
A pretty great game, Jacob. It is really hard to go 9-0, and to do that, the Crusaders would have to beat a powerhouse from the east side of the state, Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. This one a rematch from last year when Unity beat the Irish on the road. This is how Jacob gets ready for sidelines. He gets hydrated, he gets taped up, and here we go. Third quarter, Pontiac on the prowl, Ben Liperato over the stripe. The visitors from the east side lead 20-12. Next Irish possession, Sam Stowe, stoic in the pocket, a strike to Lucas Catula, touchdown, 27-12 Pontiac, under 5 to play in the third quarter. Unity Christian fighting to keep its unbeaten season alive, and the seas part for Jared DeVries, chugging towards the near sideline. Could he beat the last defender? No, he could not. The referee says he only had 9 toes inbound. He thought he had a touchdown here, but don't worry, Jared. You'd get your 6 one play later, punching it in on the goal line. Crusaders now down 27-19. They're dancing at the Pink Pony Club in the UC student section. They love this next play. Play action, and Justin Phoebus keeps it himself for the score. Unity Christian pulls within 2, but Pontiac would add another touchdown in the fourth quarter to win 34-25. It took a team from the east side to beat one of the best squads here on the west side of the mitten, Jacob.
Peter, we'll let you come back later in the show if you promise no more sinning. Now to another team trying to finish the season undefeated. Tonight, Portland looked to finish 9-0 for the third straight year. We're going to take you out to the banks of White Lake, where the Red Raiders had a trip to Whitehall. Opening drive of the game, the run-oriented Raiders go up top. Ethan Castle finds Brady Rowe over the middle, 15-yard score and a 7-0 lead. The Vikings try to get their sea legs. Liam Leake breaks one off left tackle, 19-yard run, but that would end in a 4th down stop. Portland would go to the air again. Castle finds Nolan Zibitowski in stride. He races 65 yards, nothing but daylight, and a 14-0 lead. We go late in the second. Castle, he's going to find his man Zibitowski alone over the middle, make it 49-0. The Raider D stood tall most of the night. Whitehall's last chance to score before the break ends in a Deacon Townsend, that's a football name, interception. Raiders roll in this one 35-7. And we're just getting started here. Coming up next, we're going to shift our focus to some games with major playoff implications. Northview needs a win to guarantee a spot in the postseason. They took on Forest Hills Northern tonight. Plus, Hart has to win for just a shot at staying in the playoff conversation. They hit the road to face Central Modcom. As we head to break, we'd like to thank our food sponsor, Robinson Dental. They had the pizza. It gets stuck in your teeth. Then they're going to get it out. Thank you to them. Just me, myself, and I, because our friends from the Wyoming cheer team still killing it. Now back to the highlights. And they say defense wins championships, and that's certainly been true for Grand Rapids Catholic Central this season. Coming into tonight's game against South Christian, the undefeated Cougars had only allowed 21 points total in their last 5 games. Both of these teams came into tonight looking for momentum headed into the playoffs. All defense in the first, but midway through the second, scoreless until Odin Spencer is going to find Nick Schaub back of the end zone, 7-0 for the home team. We go later on in the second. South Christian would get on the board. It's the Burgess boys connection, Austin to Owen. Not related. Owen jukes out a man. He's going to take it in for the score. We were tied at 7. Next drive, next play, GRCC going to get into great field position. You know the rule of thumb. Anytime we show you special teams, something fun's going to happen. John Superson, he's going to take this one all the way out to the 30. Look at the blocking there by the special teams. Goes almost untouched. Not all the way, though, but no worries. Literally the next play. The Cougars strike again. Spencer to Schaub, the encore. Grand Rapids Catholic Central finishes off the regular season a perfect 9-0. They take this one at 24-17. Northview, the Wildcats started the year 4-0, and if you had asked us then, we would have surely bet they would be a playoff team. But they've struggled ever since, and a loss tonight could keep the Wildcats out of the postseason. So let's find out how they responded to some adversity. Northview hosted Forest Hills Northern. Second quarter, Owen Ostapo, you know the name, keeps it himself. Quarterback keeper down the middle, he is gone. 79 yards. What this kid did tonight will go down in the Forest Hills Northern record books, and they led 42-21 at that point. To the third, Huskies, they get another one. Colton Sawyer finds the edge, takes it in 49-21. Northview trying to do anything to keep its season alive. Nearing midfield, Braylon Jefferson throws it to A.J. Johnson, who's in for the score, 49-28. But more from Forest Hills Northern. It's Sawyer again. He takes this one all the way. His second touchdown in as many possessions, 56-28. And how about our man Ostapo? He had 430 yards of total offense tonight. 5 touchdowns. Here's the second one of this highlight. 49 yards. That made it 63-28. Forest Hills Northern puts up a 70 spot, taking down Northview 70-35. That's unbelievable. Great way for them to end their season. Tonight was also a winner-go-home scenario for the Hart Pirates. Our producer Matt Gard was there as Hart traveled to Central Montcalm.
Jacob, the Hornets and the Pirates both in Division 6, so if Hart wins tonight, it could very well be a playoff rematch. But first things first, let's take you to Stanton, a city that was once called Fred. It's true. Look it up. Scoring fast and furious in this one. First quarter, Zane Cooper hits Braden Peak. He's going to get in from 70 yards. Don't know if he's a Wolverine or a Spartan fan, but he sure loves the Paul Bunyan Trophy. You see it right here, 8-0 Hornets. Hart would respond quickly, though. Kyle Greiner takes the direct snap. He's going to earn this touchdown the hard way. He goes east. He goes west. Eventually, that leads him north, and he's going to get 82 yards on this play. Missed tackle there at the end. Pirates tie it at 8. Central Montcalm cheerleaders say, Jamison Johns, he's freaky fast, freaky fast, freaky fast. Hey, Jamison, I want a turkey tom with cheese to the station stat. This touchdown makes it 16-8, but Hart would respond again. Colton Rockwell takes the QB keeper. He's in. It's a tied ball game. These two teams combined for 32 points in just the first 6 minutes. To the second, Central Montcalm hands to McCoy Wernholm for the touchdown. Hornets would pull away in this one. They win 60-24, and unfortunately, the Pirates' playoff hopes walk the plank.
The 13 On Your Sidelines MVP of the Week is sponsored by Mario Flores, Van Dyke Mortgage of West Michigan.
Time to find out who's going to be this week's 13 On Your Sidelines MVP. But first, we got to reintroduce you to those nominees. Kicker Cohen Chatfield, he was the only player to score for Jenison last week. He's the only player they needed to score to beat West Ottawa 9-7. One of his 3 field goals was a 48-yarder as the time expired. Coopersville receiver Brooks Haddon put up Madden numbers, a whopping 214 yards on 7 catches and 4 tutties for the Broncos, who won their way into the playoffs, handing Big Rapids their first L of the season. Julius Hoskins has been a big reason for Godwin Heights' breakout season. Last week's 13 On Your Sideline game of the week, he had 202 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns as the Wolverines beat their rivals from Kellogg'sville. And at Unity Christian, Justin Phoebus ran for 100-plus yards, threw for 68 more, accounted for 4 touchdowns. Crusaders took down South Christian last week. A little TV industry secret, 13 On Your Side viewership is strong in Coopersville, and Broncos Nation was ready to ride or die for Brooks Haddon. He gets 57% of the more than 10,000 votes, and Brooks is live in the studio with Jacob.
Matt, and great news for me. I had Brooks on my fantasy team last week, so my team was sitting pretty. Brooks, you're in the house. You got some of your Coopersville teammates. Who did you bring with us tonight?
This is quarterback Champ Kelly, wide receiver Sam McDonald, wide receiver Owen Monti, sorry. Center Caleb Ashby, and tight end Straight on and back.
Brooks, it's week 9. Good thing you guys are going to the playoffs because you're going to have to learn their names back here.
Yeah.
What a game for you last week. You needed it to get to the playoffs. I mean, you put up fantasy stats there. How good did that feel? What was the key for you to go out and have that performance?
It felt great. I think coach and my teammates did a great job of setting me up, and like the other team, they have to respect like all the guys over here, so it just frees me up.
You and Champ were on such a great page, and it's only gotten better throughout the season. What's been the key for you guys to get better each and every week here?
I think just like bonding with each other. I mean, it started the season off kind of slow, but as the season went on, we just kept getting closer, and that helps.
You guys have been so good down the stretch when you needed to, and props to all these guys. But did you go home that night and take a minute to think about those stats of it? Man, I mean, that's a career night.
Yeah, it felt surreal, yeah. Took like a couple minutes, just sit by myself, just soak it in, yeah.
All right, real quick, you guys going to be in the playoffs next week. What's it going to take to go on a run here?
I think just play as a team. I think we can hang with anybody in our division. I think just go out there, have fun.
All right, Brooks Haddon, your Week 8, 13 on your sidelines, MVP of the week. Broncos will be in the playoffs next week. Still to come on 13 on your sidelines tonight. It was a winner-go-home game as Fruitport faced Hopkins in OK Silver action. Plus, Holland Christian needed to win to keep its playoff hopes alive. The Maroons took on Grand Rapids Christian tonight. And be sure to check out 13 Plus for any highlights you may have missed tonight, along with an explainer on how the playoffs are mapped out from a local expert, because let me tell you, those things are confusing.
The 13 on your sidelines Protector of the Week is sponsored by Lasco Services.
Teams on the bubble are making one last push for the postseason. It's been the theme of the night, and it certainly helps if you have an offensive line with the talent of the Fruitport Trojans. That's why these guys are our 13 on your sidelines Protector of the Week. Last week, in a blowout win against Holland, Fruitport did most of their damage on the ground. They had a whopping 505 total yards of offense, 6 offensive touchdowns, and oh yeah, they didn't allow a single sack. The starters on that offensive line are Colton Smith, Mikal Williams, Dylan Avery, Chase Rosema, Ashton Kemp, Evan LaGuire, and Bradley Decker. The offensive line coach is Bryce Belter. And speaking of those Fruitport Trojans, they still had some work to do to make the playoffs. So did their opponents in Week 9 tonight, the Hopkins Vikings. Tonight's matchup, a winner-go-home situation for both teams. We're going to pick up the action in the first half. Fruitport with the ball on their own 1. Josh Eppard will not get out of the end zone. A safety for the Vikings. They were up 12-0 at the intermission. Let's move to the fourth. Same score, Fruitport with the ball on the Vikings 5. Brady Hansen with the nifty underhand pass. That's Kalen Teeter, 12-7. Under 4 minutes left, Fruitport gets the interception deep in Hopkins territory with a chance to go ahead. 4th down, next drive, and the screen pass from Hansen goes to no one. That's a turnover on downs. And Hopkins needs a first down to ice the game, and they get it. Vicente Garza takes the handoff, follows his blocks, gets the first down, and that would do it. Hopkins wins a defensive thriller 12-7, and congrats to them. They advance to the MHSA AA playoffs. I think I threw another A in there, but that's all right. How about another must-win situation? You can see Holland Christian came into tonight as the first team out of the Division IV playoffs with a razor-sharp margin in the playoff points. Peter, I hate the playoff points, but we got to do them. You were there tonight. The Maroons took on Grand Rapids Christian.
Yeah, Jacob, a lot on the line as the Eagles may have already done all they need to do to make the postseason, but still Hudson's Holland Christian High School. We leap to the third quarter. Holland Christian already up 21-8 when William Grant gets the rock. He is hard to stop, shedding tacklers like the leaves and fall. No one can bring him down. Touchdown Maroons, 28-8. Hey, that's his number. Down 20, that's when you take some chances. Grand Rapids Christian into its bag of tricks. Look at this trick play here. Nathan Larson back to Charlie King, but the interception there, Ivan Vanderbilt snaring it. That looks like a Ben Johnson play call circa 2024, except it didn't work out. The Maroons still seeing red. Isaiah Myerd goes off the edge. How about the blocking from the fellas, too, on the right side of the line? He can't quite bring it over the line. He's got breakaway speed, though, and again, Holland Christian would score later on that drive. Grand Rapids Christian still fighting, though, but Charlie King just swallowed up there by Hayden Fee and William Grant collaborating to stymie an Eagle scoring drive late in the fourth. Holland Christian wins 35-22 to finish the regular season 5-4 and take control of its postseason destiny. To quote Kirk Cousins, Jacob, you like that? You like that.
I see what you did, and no, I didn't like it. Mona Shores will most likely be celebrating a playoff berth on Selection Sunday. But the Sailors, they're not going into the playoffs playing some cupcake opponent in Week 9. For the second straight season, Mona Shores played mighty Toledo Central Catholic in the regular season finale, this time on the road. Fourth quarter, the Sailors trailed 28-6, but here was a bright spot from this one. Owen Yagella gets the fumble recovery, something big for the defense. The offense in prime field position. Ensuing drive, Joe Tolley, he's got the quarterback keeper, 17-yard touchdown. Nice blocking there, but too little, too late. Mona Shores is going to fall in this one, 35-13. And if you like the West Michigan Conference, you're going to love what we've got coming up after the break. It's all conference crossovers in our next block, kicking off with North Muskegon squaring off against their longtime rivals from Oak Ridge. Plus, the Shelby Tigers have had their best season in quite some time, but will it be enough? We'll explain their playoff situation as they travel to Orchard View. And as we head to break, we'd once again like to give another shout out to our food sponsor, Robinson Dental, for buying all the pizza for our in-studio guests. Thanks for sticking with us here on 13 On Your Sidelines. Week 9 featured several West Michigan Conference crossover games, including a battle between some longtime rivals. 6-2 North Muskegon traveled to the other side of US 31 to take on a 5-3 Oak Ridge team. Jack Shulger's Field would host the 61st meeting between these two Muskegon County foes. The Norsemen with the ball going for it on fourth down from the 1. Cullen Bardos met by a flock of Eagles who stuff North Muskegon and end their drive empty-handed. Oak Ridge driving on their first possession, handing off here to Jordan Guerrero McGrady. How many times have we called his name this season? Makes a move, though, ball stripped. The Norseman defense fall on it to get a stop of their own. Defense all over the place. Halfway through the second quarter, the Eagles knocking on the door. They hand it off to Guerrero McGrady, gets his redemption, punches it in to open the scoring. The Norsemen now looking for an answer ball. North Muskegon at the 5. Bryce Colbert running the option, pitches the ball, but the pitch bobbled. The Eagles come up with another goal line stand to keep their lead. The Eagles in a 2-minute drill. Logan Hudson, he's going to drop back and find Jaden Daly wide open in the middle of the field. That would set up another score before the half. Oak Ridge would lead 14-0 at the break and take this one 41-27. Shelby came into tonight with 5 wins. It's already the Tigers' best season since 2013. But despite that, they did still need to win tonight to guarantee a playoff berth, and they'd have to do so on the road. They took on an Orchard View team looking to spoil the party. We take you to the third. Cardinals up 7-6, but Shelby with the ball. Jalen Henderson takes the snap. Nothing to his right, reverses field. Wide open lane. That's a 64-yard house call to take the lead. On the next play for Orchard View, they would get something going. Peyton Babbitt, he's going to hit Damari Wright on the screen Wright's going to break 2 tackles. He's off to the races down the sideline. He's in for the score. They retake the lead 13-12. The Tigers on their next drive going to make it happen again. Brody Vessenden, he's going to push off a man, and he's going to outrun the Cardinals defense. Big plays left and right in this one. 47-yard score. Shelby back in the lead. Tigers with the ball to start the fourth quarter. Henderson here, he's going to take a shot for Trevor Weiss. Puts it in the bucket for the score. That would grow their lead to 21. Orchard View started a big run in the fourth. They come back to win this game, defending home turf, 35-34. What a comeback in that one. Ravenna likely punched its ticket to the playoffs with a win last week against Oak Ridge. Montague also likely has done everything it needs to do to get in the postseason as well. So tonight's conference crossover game between the Bulldogs and Wildcats was about nothing but those bragging rights. 17-7 Bulldogs at the half, but Eli Peterson gets the Cats closer, breaks several tackles before falling into the end zone, 17-14. Peterson would go to the air on the next drive as Fletcher Toman shows great concentration, pulling in the tipped pass for a big gain. That drive would end in the fourth. Peterson, he's going to sneak it in. Montague takes a 21-17 lead. The Cat D would step up big on the next possession. Kyan Peters steps in front of the pass, returns it deep into Ravenna territory. Montague would then extend the lead on a pitch to Cooper Bradley. 1-yard score and a 28-15 lead. Ravenna would get back into the game late. Dylan May to Brody Anderson. That would cut the lead to 3 here, but Montague would recover the ensuing onside kick. They hang on. Thriller, 28-25.
Let's look at some other areas' scores real quick. Hudsonville wins a close one against Granville, 28-25. Second straight season, the Eagles are OK Red champs. Caledonia finished the season on a strong note. They beat Jenison 14-7. Zeeland East traveled south of Allegan County line and won a tight one against Hamilton, 28-21. Kellogg'sville appears to have qualified for the playoffs for the first time since 2017. They beat Holland 40-34. Hastings wrapped up its regular season with a 48-34 win against Wayland. And Forest Hills Eastern and Reese Puffer both going to miss the playoffs, but it was the Hawks ending the season on a good note, 37-22 in that one. Jacob?